G'day guys, working on the Rimworld ripoff again today, and what we're at the moment is we've got all our plants and our constructions and everything going on the tile map now, so nothing's going on as separate sprites. We've got our structure building, so I can tell my little guys, hey, build a wall over here. He's going to come over, he's going to build it. So he's building it, you can see the little progress bar there. So he'll build that. But the thing I really want to do is have him actually provide the construction material. So in Rimworld, what happens is this, before you can start building it, needs some wood. So he'll run over, grab some wood, put that down there. There's actually separate tasks in there first where they've got to go and pick up the wood, provide all the supplies, and then only when all the supplies are there, they can actually start building. But I could just put some wood on the map, but I want to sort of close this whole loop and get everything working. So the first thing I want to do is actually have the orders working. So I can actually go architect orders. We don't know, well, that's not clearing properly. You can see still got the wall button. I want to be able to click orders, chop, and then we'll grab a whole area. Now let's have a look how it works in Rimworld. Go architect, orders, and we pick, say, chop wood. And you see we've got a little moving crosshair that locks itself to the grid. And we click and drag it out. We release, and everything that was in there got that little order applied to it. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to make it so we can drag this out. So the first thing we need to do is make this orders menu work. So we've got the structures one working. Let's do orders. Let's close that. And the first thing we need to do is have our list of orders. Now I sort of feel like we might have to make classes for this and have a bunch that extend each other, but I think for now, let's keep it really simple. And it may end up being all we've got to do. I'm just going to make, alongside our task types and our task, we're going to go enum orders. And so in the list, we'll have cancel, deconstruct, mine, chop, and harvest is all I can think of off the top of my head. And I just realized I spelled that one wrong. And I think in the future, if you recall how these tasks work, I've got this initialize a harvest plant task. So the harvest a plant, first you've got to walk to the plant, then harvest it. So a task actually has subtasks built into it. And I think these larger tasks will later on be associated with these orders. But for now, they're sort of separate. What I want to do now is just grab this list from our UI. So the UI lives down the bottom here. When I click on my UI, on my architect, I'll get the buttons, orders, zone, structure, and production. And let's just see it again. So I press architect. When I press structure, I get this list come up. So let's just go and have a look at the architect button. And the way it works, when I click one of those buttons, yeah, so when a button is pressed, it runs this one, on button pressed, and then the text on the button. That'll open the sub menu, which is this one. The only one that works right now is the structure one. So let's just add here, when we say press the orders button, we'll load the orders menu. So let's go find this load architect build menu, and basically we're gonna copy this. So it finds that panel, which is what all the buttons appear on. And this is the list that's going to appear there. So instead of going to the item manager and grabbing the construction prototypes, which is what the architect buildable does, this one's going to go to our task and get all the enumerables. And so the method for that is we just grab our task object, we get the orders, and we just grab all the keys. So that will provide a list of those names. And everything else is going to be the same. The only difference is when you press one of these order buttons, it's not going to be on button pressed buildable. Let's make it on button pressed order. Let's just keep this nice as well. Orders. So for the text, we don't need to do this path to name thing. We just go orders number I. Oh. Okay, now we just need to make this on button pressed order. So there's on button press buildable. So this guy's going to be pretty much the same. we're just going to take an order. Let's go to the UI, and I guess we call it begin ordering, I guess, and we'll pass through the order. So now the actual button's done all it's got to do. It's passed through to the main UI, to the main UI method, which is the one which handles all our dragging and dropping and clicking. And let's just make sure this works. Well, I need to first put that button in there. Let's go to UI, and next to begin placing, we'll put it there. And we'll just go print received order. And let's just make sure that works and we haven't broken anything. So architect, orders, and we've got the list of orders. Deconstruct, so it doesn't work on the button. You can see that's not the best there, but let's press mine. Received order mine. Received order cancel. Harvest good. So that's getting passed through. We just need to make sure we close this afterwards. Is it how we did it with the structure? Yeah, we made it close afterwards. In fact, here you can see it here. After we do it, we just close the menus. We'll handle the UI mode and all the actual stuff in a minute. I just want to make sure that the first part's done. We've chosen what we want to do and we put it away. Orders, chop. Yeah, and so now we should be in chopping mode. Okay, nice. So we've got a little print thing. All right, let's change the UI mode. And the UI mode, instead of calling it placing, let's call it ordering. I don't think we've created that one yet. Ordering. And let's have, just like we've got placing, is placing a single one, and then dragging. Let's have ordering and order dragging. Now here is where it says what to do if we're placing, and if we're dragging. So we're going to have a new one, Aleph, current UI mode equals UI mode dot ordering. But before I do this, I want to actually have, you can see here when you do it, we've got this nice little crosshair. I want to have that too. So let's go back, and I might just put it on my construction tile set for now. I might get later on a different one, a new tile set just for things like this, just for UI elements. But for now, let's grab this guy. I'll just grab my construction tile set, drag it in, and let's just put it here for now. So I'll get the grid back up. So I'm just going to go configure grid, make sure it's, was it 16 by 16? And show the grid, and now I can see where I'm working. Not sure if you can, that's a really tiny line, not sure if you guys can see it. And let's just make it like the Rimworld one. Yeah, so let's just put, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So just 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. There, and I'll just re-export that. Now if we go and have a look at our tile map, there it is there. So now I'll draw that at my cursor spot. And so let's go back to here. We want to be in our UI, and we'll make it similar to our draw prototype at cursor. So let's go draw crosshair at cursor. And it's going to be really similar to our draw prototype. What am I doing? Funk. And so it's going to go on the UI ghosts layer, and we're just going to go UI ghosts, get the position, and ooh, yeah. So I've just finished telling you guys not to do this in the previous video, or maybe the one before that, but I'm going to do it anyway. So 0, 2, I think it was. All right, so now, oh, I spelled that wrong. So now it should be able to draw the cursor. It should draw it for me. Let's make sure it works. And there, now we've got a lovely cursor. It's a bit harder to see on the lighter there, but I think it's good enough. All right, so now we need to make it so we can click and drag. And so we're in ordering mode already, and similar to when we're in dragging mode, we're just going to go, hey, if we click, now we're going to put it into order dragging mode and place construction orders. What? Oh, this is for the release. Sorry, I'm grabbing the wrong one, guys. It should be here if we're placing, and we press click, not release click. And yes, that's more likely. We set our starting position, and then we change it to the new UI mode. All right, so then we just have to have, when I'm actually in the dragging mode, now we need to actually draw that rectangle out. So we've got draw prototype in line. We're going to make it draw order ring rectangle, I guess. Let's put this down here. Okay, so just like when we're drawing the other thing, when we're drawing the construction thing, we need to first get the mouse position. So we've got the mouse position. That's where the mouse is now, and we've got the place where we started. So we've got all the information we need, but how are we actually going to draw this square? So we want a lovely outline like that. Now, how does this one work? It looks like it's actually drawn on the map layer, not onto the UI. You can see the think. All right, so we're going to need to draw something on the actual terrain map. Well, not on the terrain map, but over it. So rather than doing it from the UI, let's go back to our main game and let's put a new control, not a control, a node 2D. And let's just call it a UI drawing layer. And we'll use this for anything we need to draw that's on the map rather than on the UI. Let's add a script to that. Yep, UI drawing layer is fine. And so let's see, the way I want this to be done is you're going to call the method draw rect around terrain positions. So I don't want it to just draw pixel by pixel. I want it to be locked around the terrain grid. And so we're going to have the start, which will be a vector 2i, and the end, which will also be a vector 2i. And then this will draw that. And we need to have our func draw. Oh, so this is going to need to remember everything. So let's just make a little rect up here. In fact, let's have this one do all the work. So let's say we've got the start. Now this one's going to be a vector 2, because while this one's giving a grid position, this one's going to be a normal vector 2. It's going to draw the pixels. And we're probably also going to need the line color, which I think I'll make green. And the other thing when you're drawing a line is the width, which I think 0.5 is probably a good number. We can come back and fiddle with that later. And so we're going to draw a rectangle from here. And so let's draw it. So it's going to be draw line. And we're going to make a vector 2. So the first position in our rectangle is going to be the start.x and the start.y. So this is the top left. And it's going to go from top left to the right, top right. And so this vector 2 is going to be end.x and start.y. Yeah, that's right. So the y is going to be the same as the one on the top left. I'll tell you what, I'm going to draw this. I think it's a little bit tricky to understand. So we've got this position here. start, and we've got another position here, end. And so we're going to draw from here to here, to here, to here, to here. So this one is just the start X and the start Y. But for the second one, we're using the X from this guy. So it's going to be end dot X, but the Y is going to be the same as this guy. So it's going to be start Y. So you see what I'm doing there? So this one will be end X and end Y. This one will be start X and end Y. Sorry for the writing there. So we draw that line, we add the line color, and we add the line width. And the final thing was anti-aliasing. Yeah, let's have the anti-aliasing. All right, so we need to draw 4 lines like that. So this one, like I said, is going to go from end X, start Y, to end X, end Y, end X, end Y, to start X, end Y, and this one will go start X, end Y. Okay, now just realize this is actually my draw function right here. This one is just going to go, this one's going to convert these positions into my final start and end positions. So I think the first thing is, so start is going to be the terrain start position, just multiplied by 16. Then end will correspond with that. Then after we send it, we're going to queue the redraw to make sure it actually draws it. And I think that's in. It won't be fine, but at least this will draw a rectangle for me. All right, let's go back to our UI. And so let's call it draw layer. And so it's going to be start placing position to the mouse position. And now we just need to link this draw layer. So ready bar draw layer equals this guy. All right, let's see how that works. Architect, orders, whatever. Aha. All right, now it's not perfect. You can see it's actually one short. There's a bit of a problem there. Let me put it. I also can't cancel it in any way. What happens if I go order and start a new one? That restarts it. All right, so we've got to sort this out. So going to the left. Yeah, that's how it should work. But in the positives, it's not good. So negative's good, positive's not good. So go back to our drawing layer. So let me think. So if n.x is greater than or equal to start.x, then what we'll do is we'll just go end.x. We'll add an extra square to it. So if I'm on the right side, we add an extra square. Or else start.x plus equals 16. So that should fix it going to the left, right. Let's check that. There you can see up and down is still one way, but left and right, it's correct. Good, first go. I'm pretty pleased with that. And so let's just copy and paste that for Y. Architect, orders, mine. There we go. Perfect. All right, and when I release, it should fire. When I right click, it should cancel. So let's go and fix that. So first, let's add a cancel. Let's call it clear. And it will just, I guess, just go start. Equals vector 2.0. end equals vector 2.0. And then cue that redraw. All right, back to the UI. So when we're auto dragging and we release, it's going to be place orders, change UI mode. Do we want to be able to send out a bunch of different orders? Yeah, let's just go back to ordering. But at the same time, we go draw layer.clear. So now we should be able to paint a whole bunch of squares before we cancel. Draw one, release, draw another one, release, 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 good. Perfect. And then right mouse button already cancels. Does it? Why does it do that? Because click always cancels everything. Let's just add, because it might need it later, in draw layer. Sorry, whenever we cancel, it also clears that draw layer. It doesn't do anything specifically right now, but it might be needed later. Boop, boop. So now we just need to place the actual orders. Oh, there was one other thing. When I draw my order, the cursor stays up there, the crosshair stays at the start. And I sort of want that to stay where the mouse is. So all we need to do, we're also going to do that. So we draw a rectangle, but then also draw the crosshair at the mouse position. That's more like it. Obviously doesn't work very well on that bright green color there. It's a problem. I do like it being green, but I think for now, let's make it white, just to, because of the color palette we're using right now. So that's, okay. Draw layer. What about purple? Oh, very ugly, but also very visible. So good for testing. All right, so now what we need to do is actually have it, after we let go, select all these trees and place the order. But it feels like it might be best to leave that to the next video. So we're going to have it do the part where we find everything inside the rectangle, create the order, send it, and have the guy do it. We'll have like one video concentrating on all the order stuff now that we've had this one sort of focusing on drawing lines. Yep, let's do that. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you're all getting something out of this still. I'm going to say it again. If you can afford to send me a couple of bucks down the bottom, go on the Patreon, something like that would be really helpful. I'm not making too much money out of doing this. I'm sort of doing it. Number one, I like getting a bit of feedback. It's great because I'm a solo developer here. And when I do something dumb, I've got no one to tell me I'm doing something dumb. So it's great to have a few of you guys out there keeping an eye on me in that way. And I learn some better practices every now and then. Great to also hear that some people are getting some help from me here as well, enjoying watching through this. And there's been a bit of chat on the Discord so far, which has been good as well. So thanks to everyone who's participating in there. Yeah, once again, enough waffle from me. I'm going to bugger off. I'll see you guys later.